I have just launched a mastermind called the Circle of Influence, where I'll be taking you under my wing to show you how to build a platform online that generates an income for you so that you can have more freedom in your life. I'm also going to show you how to become a powerful influencer online so that you can score interviews and so you can get exposure on major publications and platforms. And I'm going to even show you how to build these platforms yourself, such as a website, a podcast, a YouTube channel, and a social media following so that you can get your message out there to millions. I'm also going to show you how to network with other incredible leaders online so that you can interview them and so that you can collaborate with them and really show you how to refine your story so you can share it in an unforgettable way to score more interviews, to score book deals, and to gain more speaking opportunities so that you can become a powerhouse leader. Now, if this speaks to you, make sure you head over to iamjoelbrown.com/apply and get in before I close my doors on this live, interactive, exclusive opportunity where I'm going to go deep with you and with the community of Circle of Influence Game Changers. Don't miss this. Now let's get into this interview. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Joel Brown. Welcome to the Addicted to Success special with our incredible guest, Jim Kwik, who is a memory expert and a celebrity mindset coach. Jim, you have featured on the Addicted to Success podcast before.
Yes.
It was an incredible episode. There were so many insights. I wish we could hold that interview for hours. So I know that you have a lot of value to share. So Jim, thank you so much for being here today with us. I appreciate you.
Joel, thanks for everything that you're doing, and I appreciate everybody who's watching this right now.
Beautiful. Yeah. Jim, you've worked with a lot of incredible people. One of them would have to be Will Smith, right? And the set of X-Men. Who else have you worked with, and what do you find is a great strategy that you share quite often with these celebrities and high performers?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the most important abilities in the 21st century, especially for entrepreneurs, I think entrepreneurs are modern day superheroes. I talk about superheroes a lot. One of the reasons why is when people see me on stage and I do these like super feats, like memorize 100 people's names or 100 words that an audience gives me, or numbers forwards and backwards, I always tell people, I don't do this to impress you, I do this to express to you what's really possible, because the truth is everybody could do this, we just weren't taught. If anything, we were taught a lie that somehow our potential, our intelligence is somehow fixed like our shoe size, but I know that's not true, because in the past 10 years we discovered more about the human brain than the previous 1,000 years, and what we found is we're grossly underestimating our own abilities. And I know this because I grew up with learning difficulties, and I had the broken brain. I was labeled the boy with the broken brain. I had a very, very bad accident, head trauma, and these difficulties. And so it made me very passionate about uncovering what I call your mental superpowers. And so what I'm really passionate about is helping people of all ages, whether it's children with learning difficulties to people who are aging, keeping their mind fresh. Some of my favorite clients are actually entrepreneurs, because I feel like entrepreneurs are modern day superheroes. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah,
like modern day superheroes. They're out there using their superpowers. And I don't mean leaping tall buildings with a single bound or shooting lasers out of your eyes, but they are adding value. They're finding their talents, their unique abilities, they're developing in it. But just having superpowers doesn't make you a superhero. You have to use those powers for good. And that's what entrepreneurs do. They solve problems, they add value, they create jobs and opportunity for everybody else. But I think, to answer your question, when I'm working with elite mental performers, because everyone watching this is paid for their mind power, not their muscle power.
Yes.
Right? They're entrepreneurs, they're not paid for their brute strength, they're paid for their brain strength. And the faster you can learn, the faster you can earn. So we focus on things like learning faster, reading faster, remembering better, having better focus, being a clearer thinker, be able to solve problems better. And these are all things that's interesting, because in school they teach you what to learn, like math, history, science, Spanish, important class on what to learn. But how many classes going through school were on how to learn? Like how to focus, how to concentrate, how to solve problems, how to think better, how to have clarity, how to read faster, how to remember more. And I always thought it should have been back in school, the 4th R. They teach you 3 R's in school: reading, writing, arithmetic. But what about recall? What about retention? What about remembering? And Socrates says learning is remembering. And so I believe everybody has what I call a super brain. A super brain is, they say we use only a small percentage of our potential, like 10% or whatever.
Is that true?
I mean, we use all our brain, but some people use it so much more effectively and efficiently than other people. It's just like when somebody is physically fit, they don't have to exert the same amount of effort and energy that somebody who is not quite as fit. They have to use more energy, they're going to get exhausted and tired quicker, they're not going to get the same kind of results. Same thing. So we're not just talking about mental intelligence. Yes, we teach people how to remember really fast, formulas, foreign languages, facts, give speeches without notes, remembering names, all that important things that we're talking about. But mental intelligence is one thing, but mental fitness is where it's at. I mean, you want to be mentally fit in today's age. It's not even just a nice to have, it's a must have. Because, I mean, your income is reflected based on your mental performance, right? If you're slow and you're foggy and you can't think clearly and you can't remember things that you just read or a name that you just had, I believe two of the most costly words for an entrepreneur are I forgot. I forgot to do it, I forgot to bring it, I forgot that conversation, I forgot that meeting, I forgot what to say, I forgot that person's name. Every single time you think that those words or say those words, you lose time, you lose opportunity, you lose credibility. And we live in an age of information where knowledge is not only power, knowledge is profit. And I don't just mean financial profit, I mean all the treasures of your life, right? You can learn something and apply it towards your health, towards your relationships, towards your career. And if you don't have these skills, you're falling behind because the world it's happening so fast.
Yep. Hey, everything you're saying is landing so well in me, because I know even as an entrepreneur that this whole thing of memory is so huge. So how do we get the things that we learn, right? Let's say I pick up a book and there's something really profound in there. What makes me remember some things but not remember the other?
Well, here's the thing. You hit it on the head. There are patterns, right? I believe genius is all about pattern recognition. If somebody's really smart, and I'm not talking about IQ, because I don't feel like that's an accurate way of measuring somebody's intelligence, because there's so many areas of intelligence and it's not fixed. But in terms of applying it towards something you read or something, like here's the thing. It's not asking yourself the question how smart you are, or how smart your team is, or how smart your kids are, or people around you. It's not how smart you are, it's how are you smart. How are you smart? Because ultimately, I feel like we are experts at us. That the expert is not always the person that's on video or that writes the book. We know ourselves, but genius leaves clues. Genius leaves clues that when you do remember certain things, there's certain things you're doing. There's a method behind the magic, if you will. And so I'm all about overcoming three of the biggest obstacles that entrepreneurs face right now. And so these are the three obstacles. And I'll tell people who are watching this, because sometimes the acuity or the awareness is enough just to make it important, right? So this is something that generations, it's just getting worse and worse, because previous generations didn't have to deal with the demand that we have right now. So they're all driven by technology. So there's three digital supervillains. We talk about superpowers and superheroes. I like supervillains. So the number one supervillain, and what I would say, is digital overload. Yep. Yeah, entrepreneurs are just overloaded. I mean, how many books on the shelf do you have that you haven't read yet? How many emails? I mean, it sits on the shelf and it becomes shelf help, not self-help, right? And so you have too many unread books, you have too many emails, too much information, but you haven't learned how to learn it faster. And that's what Superbrain really focuses on. It is like the ultimate program on how to learn any subject or skill in a fraction of the time. And so digital overload. The second supervillain is digital distraction. Digital distraction. I mean, how do you remain focused in a world full of distraction? Especially entrepreneurs, right? Entrepreneurs are known for their ADD. They're looking at the next shiny object and the next opportunity, right? And we are being rewired through our digital devices. It's literally rewiring our brain for distraction. And so every time you pick up your phone and you get app notifications and social media alerts and all this, you get these dopamine floods, and you're just like, you're training yourself just to not pay attention. So how do you fix that? And that's why that's the second reason we created Super Brain, because it helps you to have a laser focus. Because focus is not something you have, it's something you do. That's the other thing, is just so many people say, I want to have creativity, I want to have focus, I want to have a concentration, I want to have a better memory. Those aren't things you have, those are the things you do. So you take it from a noun and you turn it into a verb. So you don't have focus, you do focus.
Like a muscle, right?
Exactly. You don't have energy, you do energy. There's a process for creating energy. You don't have, for example, a memory, you do a memory. And when you turn it into a process, it allows you, so you don't have to just wake up and say, I hope I have, creativity to write my book, or I hope I have motivation. Again, motivation is not something you have, it's an actual process.
Yep.
So Superbrain is all about uncovering the processes of genius, because genius leaves clues. Like all these amazing individuals I get to work with in academia or politics, or world leaders in the area of corporate development, team development, learning, athletes and actors, there are patterns for people that really think clearly, that be able to remember more, that could learn another language faster, or read a script and retain it after just a few views. And so that's what we want to be able to share. So digital overload, digital distraction, and then the third one, this is a big one, you're gonna hear more and more about this for entrepreneurs, digital dementia. And you're thinking like, what's dementia? What's digital dementia? So this is where we're so dependent on technology that we're not using our brains as much, meaning that we talk about physical muscles, them being stronger, being faster, more flexible and agile, having more energy, but you also have mental muscles, and those are more important, right? You want to be mentally stronger, mentally faster, mentally more agile and flexible, mental energy, right? Not have that brain fog that slows you down. The challenge though is when you're using a phone to store like your to-dos and it does simple math for us, right? I was out with a bunch of entrepreneurs the other day. It was 10 of us, and at the end, when the bill came, 3 people took out their phones to find their calculator to divide the bill by 10, right? Which is very simple math, but we've gotten so mentally lazy. It keeps all our phone numbers, right? And now, by the way, how many phone numbers did you know growing up? Like, how many did you remember and memorize?
Probably about 10.
Yeah, I mean, people know like a lot of that. How many do we know like right now?
I struggle sometimes to even remember my own.
And here's the thing, and that's the thing, like nobody wants, like you might be somebody who could be watching this saying, Jim, I don't want to memorize hundreds of phone numbers, and neither does anybody. Yep. But we've lost the ability to remember one. And so those kind of memory lapses cost us time and money and energy. When you forget where you put something, or you forget what hotel room number you're in, or the passcode or the PIN numbers and all that, and then now that's just basic everyday stuff. But what happens when you forget a name? So like, here's the thing, like if we lost half, people say like, Jim, well, why do I need to remember anything? There's search engines and everything. But if we think about it, if you lost half of your expertise, you forgot half of what you know, how effective would you be? If you forgot half of your education, half of your experience, half of the words you know, half of the people that you wouldn't be very functional, right? And so, but imagine you could actually learn more in less time, and we all could do that because we have this untapped resource of this brain, this super brain.
That's incredible. So if you're listening right now, I want you to think about this. What is it costing you to be stuck in this distraction, to be stuck in a place of forgetting things, and to be stuck in a place where there's this overload all the time, where you feel overwhelmed to the point where you paralyze yourself and you don't move anywhere in your business or in your life? So Jim, let's move into what the payoff will be if they're able to learn how to memorize, how to get out of this whole digital overload and digital distraction.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. When you could overcome those 3 supervillains, which you can because you have the greatest superpower on the planet between your ears. One of my early students, this was about 25 years ago, she was a freshman in college. She read 30 books in 30 days. Can you imagine that, going online, picking up 30 books, and then not just scanning, and actually absorbed it and could apply it, right? And she ended up, I found out that the reason why is she was reading books on health and wellness, alternative medicine, energy, because she was determined to save her mom's life, who was dying of terminal cancer, and she ended up doing so. And that, at that moment, I realized, doctor called it a miracle, but her mother attributed it all to the great advice she got from her daughter, who learned it from all these books. And so at that moment, I realized that if knowledge is power, learning is your superpower. That if knowledge is power, learning is your superpower. Be able to read is your superpower faster. Be able to remember things is a superpower. And so I think it's the greatest advantage you could have for your business, because in order for your business to grow, you need to grow. And it starts with your brain. So Superbrain is like a neuroscience approach towards personal development, towards success, towards productivity, towards achieving, not setting your goals, but getting your goals. Because the only thing that holds you back is your mind, right? But nobody tells you about, you can think about being positive and things like that, but what we do is we break it down into habits. Because I believe first you create your habits, and then your habits create you. First you create your habits of journaling and reading each day and meditating and juicing and doing all the things working out, all the things that are good for you, and then those habits create you right back. But excellence is a habit, and so is learning. And so what I do is we show people in a very succinct way, in just like 10 or 15 minutes a day, how to unlock different parts of their brain so life is easier. You know what really this is about? And everyone, whether or not people join the Superbrain or not, what happens is there's a book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. Yeah. And it basically outlines the 7 habits of the most effective people, on the planet. And the 7th habit, I think, is like the most important one, is basically says, sharpen the saw. Sharpen the saw. That if you have all this wood to cut and you have a dull blade, and then when do you want to sharpen that saw, right? And now the wood obviously is like our to-do list. It's all the books we need to read. It's all the things we have to get done. But so many people are trying to cut through that wood with a dull blade, and what happens? It takes so much time, it takes so much energy, it takes so much effort, there's suffering, there's stress, there's struggle. But what if you took a little bit of time and just sharpened that saw? And so you could cut that wood just like it was like a hot knife going through butter, and it's easy, right? Well, that has to do with training your brain. I think if there's one skill to master, it's your ability to unlock your super brain, right? If I was a genie and somebody was watching this right now and I could say, I could grant you any one wish on the planet, what would they wish for? They would say, oh, I want 2 wishes and 3 wishes and 5 wishes and infinite wishes, right? The equivalent of that hack, if you will, if I was a learning genie and I could help you learn any subject or skill faster, the one you want to sharpen it with, the most important skill, is learning how to learn. You would say, Jim, I want to learn how to learn, because that's like asking for 1,000,000 wishes, because then you could apply that towards 1,000,000 different things. Mandarin, martial arts, marketing, music, it doesn't matter. Everything gets easier in life. And so really what I would say for entrepreneurs is you need to have an advantage. Entrepreneurship is not easy, right? There is work involved. And so many people say, I want to be an entrepreneur because there's this freedom. I want to do what I want, when I want, with who I want, for as long as I want. But there is discipline that's there. But it's working smart, not working just hard. And I think working smart is about investing in your brain, which is your most important, success muscle, if there was. Though your number one wealth building asset is found between your ears. But most people don't understand how to maximize that, because it doesn't come with an owner's manual, right? And it's not user friendly. So Superbrain, it literally is a 30-day owner's manual. It's like the ultimate personal development training in one place, because it trains you how to use your mind. And you can conquer your mind, master your mind, you can master your business.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Jim, thank you so much. So if you're listening right now, we have links, okay? Make sure you click on the link to check out Superbrain. There's an instructional video there, isn't there, on the habits first?
Yeah.
And then you can jump in on Superbrain. I'm taking the course right now. I understand how important it is. Even though I'm successful in what I do with my business and my brand, I'm always learning.
And then that exactly what you said, that's the parallel, that's the pattern of all successful leaders and business owners, entrepreneurs. They lifelong learning. I mean, because how are you gonna have the edge? Because in today's economy, right, the thing is nothing stays the same, right? You always have to get better all the time, and you always want to be able to not fall behind. And I think the biggest leverage point, if they call it in military a force multiplier. Force multiplier is where you could take the same amount of input but get so much more output, so much more return. And if somebody is watching this right now and you're struggling and you're suffering and you feel like, what's going on with this? Why can't I get myself to take action? Why keep procrastinating or self-sabotaging? It's our mind, right? Because all behavior is belief-driven. So literally, there are 5 levels that Superbrain is working on. Most people are trying to fix a behavior, right? They want to read every day, or they want to remember names, or they want to do something, but they're trying to use willpower to fix that behavior, but they're not looking at the other levels. So right above behavior is this level of capability, and that capability are your trainings around it. So let's say somebody has a behavior and they want to, let's say, read more, right? But they don't have the capability because they've learned that reading is slow and it's suffering and struggling and they can't have focus. They don't have the training. But the other reason why people might not read more is the level above that of capability is this level called beliefs and values. Beliefs and values, meaning that let's say somebody has a belief that that reading is not important, or they're a poor reader, or maybe they don't value reading, then they're not going to do it. And then the level above behavior, above behavior is capability. Above that, you have beliefs and values. Above that, you have identity. So let's say somebody has this behavior they want to change. They're a procrastinator, or they smoke, but their identity is, I am a smoker. It's going to be really hard to change that behavior, right? Or let's say their behavior is they're procrastinating, and so that's a big challenge, but they even learn how to fix procrastination, but their identity is, I am a procrastinator. That's going to be really hard to change that behavior. And then the last level below behavior is this level called environment. Environment, meaning that, so let's say somebody wants to be a better reader, and that's their behavior, but the environment is too dark, or the environment is they're reading at the worst time of the day, or let's say that they have no books in their environment. It's going to keep them from reading faster. And so all those things have to be aligned in order for you to do something brand new. And what I'm saying here is we designed Superbrain specifically to help you to change your identity around being like literally having I am a genius and having I am a memory expert, changing your beliefs and value, because all behavior is belief driven. And people think I have a horrible memory, that's going to keep them from doing the behavior. So we have all these systems in place to not only change your identity, which is the who, your behavior, your beliefs and your values, which are the why, your capabilities, we show you how, the behaviors, we show you the what, and the environment, we show you the optimal Superbrain environment, which is the when and the where, because people don't realize this, not just the what and the how and the why, the power of why and start with why and such. It's also when you do something. Entrepreneurs, you're going to learn this as you go through a Superbrain program, is it's not just what you're doing, it's when you're doing it, because we have something called chronotypes, and these are the times when you're going to get the most out of something. So I'm going to show you, going through this, the best time for your body type to read, to check emails, to be able to study, to be able to go to sleep, to be able to work out, to be able to do all those different things. Because all of this, what people want to do as a modern day entrepreneur, as a modern day superhero, is you want to be fully integrated and fully aligned. And that's what the Superbrain offers. For people who are looking into this and they want to be able to get multiple effects, be able to magnify their potential, this is a starting point for all those people.
Yes. I love that you have put a lot of work and a lot of thought into creating this, because it's simply a framework or a structure that everyone that watches can jump into and start installing these incredible habits in their life. And I know that every value and belief that we have drives the decisions we make. Yeah. And so the quality of your life is determined by where you live emotionally, and also the decisions that you make each and every day. So I love this. I love that you're all about being intentional when you step in to learn. And I think the most important commodity in a distracted world, like you're saying, is going to have to be focus, with all of the crazy things going on around us. So look, I'm really excited to go really deep into Superbrain. I appreciate you being here today with us. Guys, there's a reason why Jim Kwik works with people like Elon Musk. There's a reason why Hugh Jackman and Will Smith comes to Jim Kwik. It's because he is the real deal and knows what he's doing. So pick up the program, okay, jump in there, check it out, and thank you so much for tuning in today. Jim, thanks a million for being with us.
Thanks, Joe.
Appreciate you.